Hello and happy fall. I'm Steph and this is my dog TAO, and welcome to TAO Dog Yoga. For our practice, you will need a yoga mat for yourself, a yoga mat or little bed or towel for your dog, a 6-foot leash, and maybe some of your dog's treats. And that's it. So you can gather those things and we'll get started. So come to a comfortable seat on your yoga mat. You can place your 6-foot leash, attach it to your dog's collar, and then you'll ask your dog to lay down right beside you on their little towel or mat. And not worrying about your dog getting up or down at this point. If your dog stands up or is sitting with you, that's perfectly normal and perfectly okay. So you'll have your dog lay down next to you. Every time your dog gets up, as we begin our class and throughout our yoga practice, you just simply ask your dog to lay down next to you. If your dog decides to lay down on your yoga mat, or half and half as Tao has one paw on my yoga mat, that's absolutely fine. What we're going for is this idea of calming ourselves to calm our dogs and share this experience with our dogs. All right, let's get started. Come to a comfortable seat on your mat. Maybe shift around from side to side. Sometimes sitting up on something is nice, so if you have a pillow you can grab, or if you have yoga blocks, you can sit on that. It helps you to sit up a little bit taller and let your legs relax down a bit more. Good, and then notice how you've arrived, right? Notice if you've brought some expectations with you to your yoga mat. Maybe expectations about how this will go for you and your dog, how you expect your dog to do, right, during this practice. And if you've never done this before, right, there's a little bit of maybe nervousness, right, anticipation. So just acknowledging that and realizing that we've all had our first yoga class, we've all had our first dog yoga class, and have experienced those same feelings as well. So letting go of those expectations and really stepping into this space, right, with your dog, and let it be what it is for you, right? Let it just kind of unfold as we move through our time together. And realizing your dog may settle in this first time, right, even in your first class, or it may take a few classes and a few times of practicing for your dog to kind of say, I like this relaxation thing. All right, start to sit up a little taller. Good. Take a breath in, roll your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale, drop your shoulders down and away. This time right now, the season of fall, right, brings about some change. So see if as you sit here, you can ground down a bit more. So maybe that's shifting from side to side, really settling into your seat. And this idea of really anchoring yourself not only to your mat, but to the floor beneath you. Good, so you feel really grounded. Fall is a time of change, right? We change our habits, right? We're losing a little bit of light. It's getting a little bit cooler each day. Even our eating habits change, right? Like what we like to eat in the fall versus the summer, right? So noticing that each day you're changing, and it's a perfect time to ground down, right? So that's what we'll do with our time together, is really root down and feel grounded. Take a breath in and let it out. Let's do that again. Big inhale. Empty, let it go. One more breath like that. Fill up. And exhale. This feeling of connection, rooting down. And as you do that, notice what your dog is doing. All right, so maybe your dog has started to lay down and settle in. Maybe your dog is still up and moving, all right? And if that's the case, you're just going to hold on to your leash and ask your dog to lay down. So you'll be splitting your attention between our practice and just reminding your dog to lay down beside you. And notice if even these few breaths you've seen any shift in your dog. All right, start to deepen your breath. Close your mouth and then breathe deeply in and out through your nose. And if you feel ready, you can close your eyes. Right? It takes a lot of trust to close your eyes, not being sure what your dog might do with that. So go ahead, try that. And just notice if you can sense where your dog is in space, whether your dog is still or your dog is moving. Let's take one more breath together. Inhale. Let it go. Good. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your dog. Right? And if you're holding on to your leash, maybe your free hand just holds on to the end of your leash. Good. And then close your eyes down. And time will fall as we move towards the Thanksgiving season, right? And into the holiday season is also a time of gratitude. Right? So as you set your intention for your practice today, think of something that you feel grateful for. And that could be the first thing that comes to mind, or many things. So close your eyes, one hand on your heart, one hand on your dog. Set your intention of gratitude. And then open your eyes, release your hands. Right, and if your dog knows stay, you might remind your dog to stay as we begin to move. So just a gentle hand signal toward your dog and a stay. Good, nice calm voice. And then you can take your hands out to either side. You may also be holding on to your leash, which is fine. You can hang on to that as well. Good, and then come up onto your fingertips. Press down into your fingertips. Lift up even more. You're lifting out of the crown of your head, so the top of your head is reaching up towards the ceiling. Good, and then keep that height. Take a breath in. Reach up, overhead, palms touch. And then as you exhale, reach out really long and lower your arms down. Do that again. Breathe in, reach up, even more height. Lift up and out of your rib cage. Yeah. And then exhale, come back down. Last one, biggest breath yet. Inhale, reach, lift. And then exhale, release your hands down. Starting to move a bit more, we'll shift into a tabletop position. So this movement alone, if your dog is laying down, might get your dog a little excited, right? Just this shift in energy as you come forward. So remind your dog to stay. And then you're going to move really slowly, right? Mindful movement. TAO's stretching a bit, kind of reaching more onto my mat, and that's all good. So the idea is your dog is starting to relax next to you. For some of your dogs, your dog may be getting excited and jumping up on you right now, maybe licking your face, right? That's all normal for dogs to do as you do this for the first time and you move your body in different ways. So if that's the case, you just ask your dog to lay down and come right back to the yoga when you can. All right, spread your palms nice and wide, press firmly down into your mat. And then your wrists are below your elbows, below your shoulders. Really long line of energy there. And then you're on your knees. Let your feet go so the tops of your feet are pressing down into your mat. And we'll start to press our hands, press the tops of your feet into your mat and draw your core, your belly up and in. Good, we'll come into some cats and cows. Drop your belly down. Heart lifts, gaze goes forward, big breath in. And then exhale, tuck your chin, round your spine, keep pressing down into your hands, press down into the tops of your feet. Inhale brings you forward, belly drops, heart comes forward, lift. And then as you exhale, tuck your chin, big curve to your spine. One more, just like that. Drop your belly down, lift up. Tuck your chin, big curve. And then come back to a neutral spine, flat back. And reach your right leg back behind you. Flex your foot, really active in your back leg. And then press out through your heel, getting even more length. Bend your knee, and then you're going to lift your knee up, open your hip. Starting to really work into our hips here. We're going to take one big circle in one direction. All right, go the other way. And then extend your legs straight behind you. I'm going to play with a little balance. Reach your left arm right out in front. Going for length here. Reach your fingertips long, reach out through your heel, and then maybe a little extra lift. Bring both your hand and foot down. Good, a little movement side to side. Maybe rolling your head around a little, letting go. All right, and then coming to the opposite side, back to your tabletop, reach your left leg behind you, really active here. Good. Bend your knee and then lift your knee up, you're opening your hip. Choose one direction, one big circle one way, and then go the other way. Good. Extend your legs straight back behind you. All right, we're going for it. Reach your right arm straight ahead. Good, really, really, really long. And then here, engage your core and press down into your hand and your leg that's making contact with your mat and draw your core in. Good. Let everything come down. Back to tabletop, a little movement, back and forth. And then just notice how your dog responds to that, right? Notice if your dog got excited or maybe your dog is starting to settle in a bit more. Good, and we're not doing too much petting, right? Any contact with our dogs. We're just encouraging them to lay down and calm down. Sometimes your touch will actually excite them, right? And we'll get into that in a little bit later in our practice, our calm touch handling. But for right now, just ask your dog either to stay or tell them they're really good in a calm voice as they start to settle in. All right, step your right foot between your hands. Your back knee is down. So you're in a knee down lunge. And then come up onto your fingertips. We're going to find some length in our spine. So lift and lengthen. Reach up through the top of your head. Take a big breath in. And then exhale. Hips go back. Straighten your front leg and fold down over your front leg. Inhale. Hips come forward. Lift up. Maybe you even lift up off of your mat, opening your heart. Hands come back down. Straighten your front leg and fold. And inhale, come forward. Lift up. Find some length. Hands come down. Hips go back. Folding over your front leg. And having a gentle bend in your front leg here is great. It allows you to drop your head down even more, getting a bigger stretch. And then bring your hips back forward. You're back into your lunge. Keep your left hand down and then reach your right arm up, twisting open. Good. Take a breath. Reach up even more. And then exhale, open up. Good. And then bring your hand back down. We'll meet in tabletop. Good. And then switch sides. Left foot steps between your hand. And then start to sink down into your hips, maybe walking your back knee back a little bit more, getting a bigger opening. Good, and then come up onto your fingertips, heart lifts, breath in. And then exhale, fold down. Linking breath to movement. Inhale, you come forward, you lift up. open. And as you exhale, front leg straightens, hips go back. Last one, come forward. Lift up. Maybe this time you reach back. Yeah, just like that, opening up. Hands come back down, fold over your front leg. Take a breath here, in, and let it out. Shift your hips forward, coming back into your low lunge. Right hand stays down, left arm reaches up, twisting. Take a breath in, get a little more length up, and then exhale. See if you can open a bit more. Good, another inhale, another exhale. And then bring your hand back down. We'll meet in tabletop position. Good, so Tao's wandering around a little bit. I'm just gonna hold on to my leash. And she laid down right in front of the yoga space. So she's hanging out there. I can let her hang out there as we continue to practice together. And the reason I'll hold on to my leash is just so she doesn't wander off completely, because while we're doing this, we are also training our dogs. We're conditioning them to stay with us and relax by our sides. All right, let's curl our toes under, press back to downward facing dog. So you press firmly into your hands, hips go high. Good, and then your heels reach down towards your mat. Let's take a breath in and let it go. Another big breath. And then exhale, send your hips a bit higher. Good, stay right there. Big breath in. And empty it out. Lower your back to your knees. We'll walk your feet forward and we'll come onto a seated position on our mats. And just stopping for a moment, pausing for a moment, and checking in with the changes in your body. So what feels different to you, right? Notice what your dog is doing. Notice how the breath and movement has changed the way you feel in your body. Good. All right. Sitting up nice and tall. Bring your left hand over to your right knee. Right hand behind your hips. Setting up for a spinal twist. Take a deep breath in. Lift up as tall as you can. And then exhale, start to twist towards the right. Good, and generating the twist right from the center of your body, from your rib cage. Take another breath in and twist more. Good, last big inhale. Exhale, come back to center. A little movement from side to side. Letting that go. Good. And then bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind, sitting up nice and tall. Take a breath. And then exhale, twist over to the left. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Last big breath in. And then exhale, come back to center. A little movement from side to side. Good. Let's take one breath together, in and out. We're going to move into our calm touch portion of our Tao Dog class together. So this is all about our dogs. So now that we're calmer, we're in a different place, right? Where our energy's different, where we can really move into some really calm touch with our dogs in a really thoughtful way to build our connection with our dogs. All right, so you just did all this amazing yoga to open your body. So you're going to want to have your dog really close to you, right? So you're not reaching, right? Because as we reach, then we're going to round out and fold down. So you really want to stay lifted in our time doing calm touch with our dogs. So you're going to have your dog sit right in front of you, or if your dog is next to you, really settled, you can move to your dog. So you want your dog really, really, really close for this. So let's do that now. Come here, Tao. Tao. I'm going to call Tao back over. Good girl. Good. Come, Tao. And so Tao's just going to lay right on my mat. I'm going to encourage her to, I'm going to help her. I'm just going to move her over close to me. Good girl. Let her scoot in. Good girl. Lay down, Tao. Lay down. Good girl. And she wants to roll that way. Good. Come on, Tao, Tao. So for this, she's a little too far. So I'm going to ask her to move a little bit closer. Tao, come. Come on, Tao. Let's go. Come, 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 come. Over here. Good. A little closer to me. Good. There we go. So then I can move right towards her. And I can move really, really close to Tao as we do this. So you'll want to start, if you need to, hold on to your dog's leash. Your dog may also be seated or standing at this point, and that's okay too. You'll still follow along with the exercises. And so you're going to put one hand in your dog's collar, and then with your free hand, you're going to let it land right behind your dog's ears at the base of their head. And then in slow motion, you're going to move your hand slowly down your dog's spine. You can see Tao's trying to get comfortable, rolling to the side. She laid next to the wall, so it's a little tricky. Good, and then you're going to pause when you get to the base of your dog's tail. Good, and then you can remove your hand, and then remove your hand from your dog's collar. Here, Tao. I'm going to show everybody. Good, come here. Tao, Tao. So Tao's a little too close to the wall, so now she's right in front. So as she relaxes, she can really sprawl out. There she goes. Good, let's do that again. So one hand in your dog's collar. Your free hand's right behind your dog's ears. And then really slowly, even slower this time, go all the way down your dog's back. Good, until you reach the base of your dog's spine. And then you're going to release both hands. Good. We'll do that one more time. So we pause in between, just letting what we did settle with our dogs. It's kind of like us taking a big breath in and out, and that little pause that happens afterwards. That's exactly what we're doing here. Get another hand in your dog's collar. This time, let your hand land right behind your dog's ears. And then close your eyes and start to move your hand very slowly and just notice what you feel. Right, your dog's fur, the temperature of your dog's fur, how soft it feels underneath your hand. And then keep moving until you reach the base of your dog's tail. Get there, you're going to pause. And then you can release both hands, open your eyes. Good. Good. And we move this way each time we practice in Tao Dog Yoga. So the yoga is always different for us and our bodies, depending on what's going on, right? What we need. And for our dogs, the calm touch part is always the same. Dogs thrive on consistency and repetition. So what you're doing here is not only helping use your energy to calm your dog, you're also building a lot of trust with your dog. So when your hands are on your dog, you're moving slow so your dog knows where your hands are going at all times, right? So there's no surprises. And the consistency helps them to know each time you sit down, put your hand in their collar and start to move your hands, they're like, oh yeah, this amazing thing is about to happen. So your dog may stretch, Tao's stretching out a little bit more. Good. All right. One hand in your dog's collar, you're just gently resting that hand. And why we do that is because it's a cue or a signal to your dog that this really awesome thing is happening. So you can either leave your hand there. If your dog is relaxed like TAO, you don't need to hold the collar, right? You might hold it on the first one we did and then just kind of let it go. Some of you may be holding on to your leash, right? If your dog's still getting up and moving, and that's fine. All right, let your hand land behind your dog's ears. And then you're going to go all the way down your dog's spine. This time you'll find the hip that's most available. So it might be the one closest to you or the one that's facing up. When you get to the top of your dog's hip, you'll pause and then slowly move your hand down your dog's leg until you reach your dog's knee. And then pause there. Release your hand. And then notice if you are still breathing. I find I get so focused on the feeling in my hand and where it's moving that I forget to breathe. All right, so if you forgot to breathe, I forgot to breathe on that one. So I'm going to remind myself to breathe on this next one. So let your hand land right behind your dog's ears. This time we'll move down and find the shoulder that's the closest or most available to you. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, nice and slow, start to move your hand. Letting your breath out as you move from your dog's shoulder all the way down to your dog's elbow. Pause when you get there. And then release your hand. Good. What does your dog think of this? This is your first time practicing TAO dog yoga. You may have had moments where you have this connection, right? And you can feel it in other moments where you're moving and your dog's moving and it feels a little bit more distracting, right, to have your dog practice with you, right? So just taking in what it is, right, what this experience has been for you and what you've learned about your dog and how they react to how you move and how you breathe. All right, let's set up for Shavasana. Again, moving really slow, right? If you move quickly, your dog's energy will come up and they'll possibly stand up and think it's all over, right? We're all done. And one more thing, our Shavasana. So this means rest. You can stay seated with your dog, close your eyes, and just rest in a seated position, or you can lay down on your back and get comfortable. Good. So as you move, you may remind your dog to stay. And then really slowly, noticing what your dog is doing, you're going to come down onto your back, or maybe you're still seated. Good. For Shavasana. And you may find you're in contact with your dog. Maybe one hand is on your dog, or maybe you're just laying next to your dog. And let go of any effort. A gentle rock of your feet from side to side. Maybe shifting around a little bit. Letting your hands kind of flop down on either side and be heavy. And grounding down. This idea of rooting down, let your body get heavy. Let go of any effort in your breath. And just rest. And start to bring some gentle movement back into your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. come back to your breath. Take a deep breath in and let it out. And maybe making some bigger movements. All right, and as I move a little bit more, TAO moves. Your dog may move too. And then you'll roll over onto one side and gently press yourself back up to a seated position on your mat. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. Let's take a final breath together. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you for sharing your time with me and TAO today and practicing TAO Dog Yoga with us.